Hello Year 5, welcome to Monday's Maths, welcome to week 2 maths lesson where we are looking at multiplying fractions by a whole number. Okay, that's what we're going to be exploring today. Now, before we get going, let's have a go at your arithmetic starter. Now you may notice we've got an extra question here. It says, what time is it? And I want you to tell me the time on this clock, okay? What time is it? And make sure you really look at which line the minute hand in particular is pointing to. Tell me as specifically as possible, what time is it? Okay, now I'm going to reveal the answers to you, so pause me here and you can reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you got these answers. The time is actually 2:26 or 26 minutes past 2. It's not quite pointing at the 5, which represents 25 past. It's actually one jump after. So that is 26 minutes past 2. All right, let's get going. Now, our can I today is, can I multiply unit fractions by a whole number? Now, a unit fraction is a fraction with a numerator of 1. So this can be any fraction as long as the numerator, the top number, is 1. So that's what we're working with today. All of our fractions will be 1 something. So 1 half, 1 quarter, 1/5, etc. Okay, so we can do multiplication by breaking it down and adding it up. Just like we do in normal addition. When we are timesing by 3, we are doing 3 of the same number together. For example, I've got 1 quarter times by 3, and we're going to count up in fourths, and we're going to count up in fourths 3 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, if I was to put them all together, I could cross out that one and move it up here. Whoop. Oh, that's a bit of a dodgy pen. Let me get my highlighter out, my trusty highlighter. There we go. So I've moved one up there. And then I'm going to cross out this one. And I'm going to move this one up here. And it's going to be even easier to see that we're going to be left with 3 quarters. Okay, so 1 quarter times 3 is the same as 1 quarter plus 1 quarter plus 1 quarter, which is equal to 3 quarters. Okay, remember, just like when we are adding fractions, the denominator must stay the same. Okay, the denominator is not going to change. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to ask you to pause me and have a go at these 3 questions for me. Now you can write it out exactly the same way it's been written out here, but you must remember that that denominator is not going to change. So what do you think the answer to these ones are going to be? When you're ready, you can unpause me and I will show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so 4 times 1/5 is equal to 4/5. 7 times 1/3 is equal to 7/3, or 2 and 1/3, because 2 wholes is equal to 6/3, and we have 1 left over. 9 times 1/9 is equal to 9/9, which is also equal to 1 whole. Okay, hopefully you got those correct. If you didn't, come along to a daily drop-in session with me or Mrs. E. Okay, here is a question for you. Mo is using a single bar model to help us work it out. So instead of having our bar models set separately, like in our last example, we're going to have one bar model here. Okay, so we take exactly the same question. We've got 1 quarter times 3. How am I going to put it into my single bar model? Instead of drawing out all of my bar models, I'm just going to draw one. It's going to have 4 parts because that is our whole. We've got 4 parts here, and I need to colour in 3 of them. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, and I'm not going to colour in that one because I'm only colouring in the amount we are multiplying by. So then I can count out how many I have. So 1 quarter times by 3 is equal to 3 quarters. Okay, it's your turn. Can you have a go at 6 times 1/8 and 1/10 times 8? Okay, that's your examples here. You can pause me here and have a go. Remember, in fractions, if we can, we want to simplify our answer. So pause me here, draw out a bar model, just a single bar model. This first one, you're going to break it into 8 parts. The second one, you're going to break it into 10 parts, okay? And when you're ready, unpause me, and I will show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, 6 times 1/8 is 6/8 or 3/4. And 1/10 times 8 is 8/10 or 4/5. And I've simplified them both down. Okay, here we can have a look at an example where we're using a number line to help us. So we are going to do 5 times 1/3. So we're going to be using a number line to count up in 1/3. So I've got my number line, and I've got it up to 2, and I've got it in increments, in jumps of 1/3 each time, because if we went 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, so a whole has got 3/3 in it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump up 5 times, because that's how many times we are times in 1/3 by. So we go 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, and that's 5 jumps. So it's 5/3 because that's how many times we jumped. And can we simplify that down? No, we can't, but what we can do is we can change it into a mixed number. What mixed number would that be? Well, I've got one whole group of 3, and I've got 2 parts left over. So it'd be 1 and 2/3. There we go. Okay, your turn. Using a number line in your book, can you have a go at 8 times 1/2? So think about how many jumps you're going to have in between each whole number and how many jumps you are going to do. Okay, pause me here, and when you are ready, I will show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, 8 times 1/2 is 8/2, which is equal to 4. Now, it's not a fraction now, because actually, if I simplify that down, that is going to give me 4 ones, sorry. If I simplify that down, but 4 over 1, or 4 once, I think that's a term, is actually exactly the same as 4. Okay, so 4 over 1 is exactly the same as 4, which is why my answer is not written as a fraction. Okay, let's move on. Okay, here is a question for you to have a go at, okay? If you're feeling super duper confident, then pause me immediately and see if you can answer this question. 1/9 times what is equal to 2? Now, if you're not feeling so confident about it yet, then don't worry, you can do it alongside me. So, I've got my question. 1/9 times what is equal to 2? How am I going to work out the answer to this question? Well, first off, I know that when I've got a missing part in the middle of a question, I'm going to need to do my inverse. But before I even do that, I'm going to have a look at this answer and think, well, I've got a fraction here, and I need to know what this is going to be as a fraction. So I've got 2 wholes here. So what would 2 wholes be if it was a fraction of 9ths? So how much is 1 whole when we're working with 9ths? That would be 9/9. So 9/9 is equal to 1. So how many would 2 be worth? Well, I'm going to times them both by 2. So it's going to be 18/9 here. 18/9 is equal to 2 groups of 9. Okay, so now I've got 1/9 times what is equal to 18/9. Now remember, our denominator's not going to change, so that's all good to go. So we are looking at our numerator, okay? So what do we need to times by 1 to get to 18? That is going to be 18. So 1 times 18 is equal to 2, because that is the same as 2 groups of 9, and I've got it here as a bar model as well. If I've done my group of 9 here, where I've started with 1. If I fill in 18, then I've got 2 groups, and that's going to give me 2. Okay, hopefully that was a nice clear explanation. If you're unsure about what I did to find that missing number, then feel free to go back and watch it again or pop by into a daily drop-in session today. Okay, here is your varied fluency today. Have a look at this. It's also on the website along with the answers, as is your problem solving and reasoning tasks today. Okay, if you've spotted any marvellous mistakes that I might have made this week, then please let me know. Let me apologise for my marvellous mistakes that I made in Friday's video, and thank you to Zena for spotting those and letting me know. It just goes to show that even teachers make calculation mistakes sometimes, and I'm not entirely sure where I left my maths brain when I was recording that video. Alright guys, have a fantastic Monday, and Mrs. E will be back with you tomorrow to carry on with our fractions learning.